Hi, I'm Lucy Edwards, Director of Strategic Engagement at Matterport and VHT Studios. And today we're at Douglas Elliman Real office in Miami, for those who don't know, Florida. And I am with Phillip Parker. And Jay, you have a very new, absolutely exciting title, CEO of Brokerage for Douglas Elliman Florida region and President of Douglas Elliman Development Marketing Florida.
Well, thank you, Lucy. I'm so happy to be here. That's a big title for a big job, but I'm honored to be sitting in this seat and love this company like it's my family and love you. I love seeing you. I've always seen you. Thank you for always covering us in the ways that you do and all the wonderful things that you do to help, perpetuate the strength of Douglas Elliman and all the exciting involvement we have with our agents, our developers, and our team.
Well, I would like to start with your journey, your career journey, and what led you to become a CEO of Douglas Elliman. Such a prestigious name. It's an excellent worldwide brand and well known in the United States. And you are growing every day. You are growing. You're opening new offices. But let's talk about Florida. Let's focus on your state.
My journey's been wonderful. I remember the first time I heard about Douglas Elliman was when I moved to New York City many years ago. And the first real estate agent I ever spoke with was a Prudential Douglas Elliman Real Estate agent.
Back then,
I knew that Douglas Elliman represented the pinnacle in luxury and quality. And so I've always understood the value proposition behind this incredible company. Years later, I relocated to South Florida. I became a lawyer at the University of Miami. And while working at different law firms, I ultimately started my own real estate law firm. And while working as a lawyer, I had the privilege of working with many of the best real estate agents in this market, navigating their transactions, assisting them in the process of closing those transactions, and really always recognizing that there was a void in the market. There was a lack of support, and I think it created an opportunity for me as a lawyer. And when balancing out that opportunity as a lawyer and a law firm versus a brokerage firm, there were two challenges. Number one, my clients were brokers and real estate brokerage firms, so it didn't make sense for me to become a broker. And number two, I thought it would require a tremendous amount of capital and really something that I certainly wasn't potentially able to do at that time. So I never really advanced the idea of doing something in the real estate brokerage space. I was happy being a lawyer. I was happy running a big title insurance company. And I was happy working with all the agents that I had the privilege of working with. About 14 years ago, our incredible executive chairman, Howard Lorber, approached me and he said, "Hey, Jay, I know you're doing a lot of work for our agents. I was recommended to you by the lady that was holding the position at that time. Would you be interested in talking with me about what was then Douglas Elliman Florida? Because the Prudential franchise still existed in New York." And I was blown away by being presented with an opportunity by Howard Lorber. I had admired him before I even knew him. But candidly and very cautiously, I told him that I had a really big job at a really big law firm that I had built with my colleagues. And I really wasn't prepared to step off from doing that to run what was then a relatively small, separate brand in Florida because it was still bound by the franchise in New York. And he actually understood that and he embraced that and said, "Hey, let's keep in touch." Exactly a year later, he came back to me and he said, "We've decided to buy out the Prudential franchise. We're going to build a new brand called Douglas Elliman Real Estate. And this is what caught my attention." He said, "Jay, we're going to be in all the markets that our clients want to be in." And having worked in the industry for several years and worked with some of the best agents, I saw that the business coming into Florida was coming from the same places. It was coming from New York, Connecticut, Long Island, New Jersey, Boston, Toronto, you name it. Those were the same people coming here. Growing up in a home where my father was a real estate attorney, my mother was a real estate broker, I understood the real estate business and I also had great connectivity to the real estate industry in Toronto. So many times as a lawyer, when I would be asked by agents, "Hey, can you connect me with brokers in Toronto?" I saw that while I had the relationship there and I had the connectivity to make the introductions, the brokers there didn't want to deal with it. The agents might have, but the brokers didn't. And you needed the broker to support the business. So because of the nature of our industry, the brokers would say to themselves, there's not much in it for me. There's something in it for the agent, but it's not worth us compromising our brand. So when Howard hit that highlight of telling me that we were going to be in all the markets that our clients wanted to be in, I knew that there was an opportunity to build something very special in Florida. And 12 years ago, we embarked on this journey together in Florida. And I'm so proud of what all of us as a company have created. It's a special, special organization. We have a dynamic that I think powerfully separates us not only from the other real estate industry brokerages, but also from every company in the market. It's a culturally driven organization. It is managed equally across a team versus a hierarchy. And I think that there's something very special about the respect that we have for one another, and it permeates from every level of our organization, from our admins to our executives, to our agents, to our chairman.
And you took it step up. You actually elevated the brand to a well-known brand in Florida for new developments. You are involved in such prestigious developments that no one can even think about being part of, but you own it. And you created. There is a reason you have in your title that you are a president of Douglas Elliman Development Marketing Florida. There is a reason for it. So how you were able to achieve that goal, and you are still working on it because you are still bringing new business in? Where did you start?
Well, thank you, Lucy. I appreciate your accolades. You know, I remember the day where our former president of development marketing resigned. He became a good friend of mine prior to his resignation, and I always believed that he had a special sauce, that there was something that he knew that I wasn't aware of. And so I found it quite intimidating at the time to, by default, take over some of his responsibilities. But I think it's my approach and my character that facilitated this opportunity so powerfully for me. I'm not driven by ego. I'm driven by what I believe is a special gift to extract the best in people, listen, and try to help people realize their best potential. So I leaned on the people that were already part of that organization, Kathy Strafacci and Caprice Weber and the various other leadership executives that had cut their teeth in development marketing, had spent time as sales directors, as salespeople, working on projects, working with architects, working with interior designers. And I listened, I learned, and I tried to help give them the power to help us make good decisions. And most powerfully, to respect and give appropriate accolades to Susan DeFranza, I leaned on her. I'd ask her for advice. I'd try to take from her part of her wisdom in this industry, and understanding that with this extraordinary development business that we had in New York, we could learn from them. We could take little pieces of what worked in New York, where, as they always say, if you can make it there, you can make it anywhere. Mm-hmm. And at a time that has never been more relevant than it is today, learning from our other markets and the different dynamics that help shape the product in those markets, we could win in our markets. And it's a true testament to Howard Lorber and Dottie Herman and Scott Durkin and the real dynamic of our company. Being a non-franchised organization, an organization that can really speak to our colleagues in each market and get their buy-in, we had a chance to go to our developers and say, hey, look, we're the only ones that can really reach into New York City, reach into Los Angeles, reach into each of our other powerful markets and get the attention of our agents and their clients to help set new records. And when we embarked on the Edition residences, the first Edition residences in the world, and the Faena residences, the first Faena project in the United States, we showed the world that we not only would break records, but that we would attract a dynamic and a product type to this market that had never been seen before. And that led us in the right direction and helped me to attract new developers and enhance our relationship with others. And we're fortunate. I mean, David Martin from the Terra Development really gave me every opportunity to express myself, and I credit him many times with a very special dynamic with the agents. He wants to hear what the agents have to think. And that same skill set has been something that I've seen in many of the best developers that we work with. It's their neck on the line, but they hire us for more than just sales. They want to know what are buyers looking for today? And then how do we extrapolate that from them and put it into the next buildings that we develop? So it has become the absolute pinnacle of my passion. Of course, besides my beautiful wife and children, it's everything I think about is helping our agents be the best agents that they can be, and helping our developers build the most extraordinary products and sell for the highest possible prices at the greatest velocity.
Well, my next question, which you kind of answered already, but maybe we can get deeper into it. Leadership. You are a great leader. You are so well respected throughout the company and the industry, respected by your competitors. But what do you bring to the culture of Douglas Elliman? How does your leadership influences the culture of your company?
I'm glad you asked me, Lucy, because I take a lot of pride in culture. And I grew up from humble beginnings, and I came to this country as an immigrant, and I've always treated people with respect, whether it was the doorman or Howard Lorber. I treated people with respect. And I've built this organization in Florida around the same principles. We have zero tolerance for negativity, inappropriate behavior. We're integrity first as an organization. And I think I've made it very clear to people over the last 12 years that I'm going to embrace people's ideas, help them have a stake at the table, allow people to advance their growth within this company, really treat people like the family that we are. And I think it's contagious. And I think when you lead with an honest, integrity-based, family-driven approach, you get more buy-in. And, it's like you look at the massive organizations of the world, the Googles or the Bloombergs, they want to keep their employees close. They want to allow them the opportunities to work longer, work harder, and feel like they're a part of what they're building. So you'll always hear me talk about our team and that we've done one thing or another. And I think because it's so genuine, we get the buy-in of everyone that's a part of our company. And I think that in any organization, if you have the right people, the next best thing is to keep those people. And my commitment to each and every person that works with us has allowed them to come to me first when given other opportunities and ask me if they could perhaps enhance their opportunity with us so as not to have to forego it and work somewhere else. And that retention of both agents and employees has allowed us to develop. And I think, you never know where your next big idea is going to come from. And so that ability that I have to create that window for everyone to have a voice has perpetuated our collective vision. I oftentimes say, we're a bench, not a hierarchy. And you never know who's going to be the next best player. You never know who's going to have the next best idea. I don't yell. I don't speak down to people. And I think that that's the same way I expect everyone in the organization to behave. And I also believe in hard work. And when you're the first one in and the last one out every day, it's a matrix by which people can look for in themselves to know that they're either achieving or not achieving. And I believe in hard work. I believe in dedication. I believe in honesty and professionalism. And I've always said that I want to be the best at what we do. It doesn't mean we're going to be the biggest, but I think that my reputation in this community as a businessman, as a leader, as a father, as a philanthropist, have always been driven by those same principles. And I guess if you always try to do the right thing, it's going to either work out, but if it doesn't, people will never be able to say that you've done the wrong thing or that you're a bad person. So it's just permeated throughout everything that we do in Florida. And I think that my leadership at this company stands as a beacon of a standard and that we all believe in and live by. And I'll tell you, some of my greatest friends in the world are executives and agents and employees of this company. And so Howard's always said we're an agent-centric organization, which I believe in firmly, but we're also a family. And we celebrate victories. We stand beside each other at times of loss. And that's a very special part of who we are at Douglas Elliman.
And I greatly appreciate it. Beautifully said. And I really, truly feel your passion and I feel your love for everyone at the company. And it's a privilege to be part of Douglas Elliman. And I met your office managers and a lot of agents, and everyone feels the same way. It's a family. Yeah. It's a great joy to come to work and to be together and to work together. There is no competition. It's a competitive market and everyone wants obviously to get the best what they can do for their clients, but everyone helps each other. And I think that culture of not being selfish and not being competitive with someone who is sitting next to you, but helping them, I think that is incredible. And you are the one who built that atmosphere that everyone feels comfortable with themselves and with each other.
Lucy, I forgot that And this is true. Like I sometimes think of Martin Luther King when he says, I had a dream. I really had a dream. When I first started this job, it was something new for me. I was intimidated and uncertain. But I did have a dream about people working together. And it's a much more elaborate discussion, but I always felt like two agents could accomplish more by collaborating versus attacking or combating one another. And in many of our markets, actually at Howard's direction first, we did some of the most important deals by Howard placing multiple agents on the same opportunity. And it's taught them that 1 plus 1 can equal 3, or 2 plus 2 can equal 5. And that opportunity is something very real. And I think many of our agents, from the top agents in the company to those beginning with our organization, they understand that collaboration is a winner. You're not going to succeed in this business because of one deal. You're going to succeed because of many successful deals. And there's, at times, someone that may bring more value to the equation than you can bring on your own. So bringing that person in and getting wins under your belt helps you to be better at what you do, whether it's in development marketing or on-site sales or general real estate. And that message still rings true. We continue to see agents in different markets collaborating, agents in the same market collaborating, agents calling agents at other levels within the organization and asking them to participate in opportunities that they may not have been able to secure on their own or be successful on their own. And I think all of us take a lot of pride in that.
Well, let's switch gears a little bit. Let's talk about the technology. How, in your opinion, how does technology changing the real estate landscape right now? And what does Douglas Elliman do to incorporate technology in everyday life and in your listing presentations and your marketing directions?
Well, I think it's a very interesting discussion. And I think that the balance that we have stricken between technology and human interaction is a very effective one. At the end of the day, at our level, it's a human business. You need professionals to engage in the negotiations and the identification and the presentation of information and really be able to leverage their skill set to be able to show a property in the best way possible, to help a buyer navigate which properties, what price points, what neighborhoods. I think that's a lot of human interaction. But I do think that there's new tools, new opportunities, new technology that is helping to shape the way in which we do that, the human people interacting with that technology. I was recently fascinated to witness one of our newest tools called Elliman Innovation, Elliman Inspiration, I'm sorry. It's not even launched yet, so hopefully this video will come out after we launch it officially, but a fascinating tool that incorporates basic or historically applied search results with AI. So that buyer can search using artificial intelligence, using criteria that they input into that search category, but then that information is shared with their realtor, so the realtor can also start to shape what they show you based upon your search criteria, and then it keeps you both notified as to new products or price reductions in that same space, so that the buyer benefits and the agent benefits, making the value proposition between the two that much more solid. I also think that digitization and video technology is changing the landscape. I believe in social media. I believe in videography. I believe in exposing products through materials that are captivating. And I think you can do a lot more in a digital presentation than you can in a printed one. I still believe in print. I still think there's all kinds of opportunities in every spectrum of the marketing industry. But I firmly believe that a lot more humanization comes out through a video. And I think that we've developed ways like Element Productions, where a product can be easily transferred from your site onto a camera in a way that is transformational. And so I think that there are tools that enhance the way the humans do business, or the agents in this case, and buyers and sellers and tenants and landlords. But I do think our future is being enhanced with these tools. In some ways, the same way a taxi has been enhanced by Uber, the technology that we'll bring to the table, it's not going to change the fact that that human interaction is so fundamental, but it's going to change the way that the information moves from the agent to the client and back and forth so that better opportunities are capitalized upon. And I'm excited because I also think that we have balanced as a company the investment into technology against the investment into our agents and their support. So I'm a fan of technology, but I don't think it replaces the agent.
Well, I don't think the agent can be, we're still human. I still would love to talk to someone and listen to their opinion, and technology will not provide me with that. But technology will help me to see more, more properties, more condos, more houses, and it can actually widen my horizon. And that brings me to Matterport. So being part of the technology company, and RJ Pittman, our CEO, he is always saying that very soon that built world is going to be digitized. Every commercial and residential property will have a digital twin. And it will be available for everyone to watch 24/7. It's like open house 24/7. So what's your take on it?
I completely agree. I'm seeing the most fascinating, representations of your technology where you can experience a product as if you're in it. You can walk through a building, you can walk through a condominium unit, you can understand the dynamics of it in a way that you could never have done before. Years ago, the idea came to the forefront of buying a car online. And people said, you'll never be able to buy a car online because you need to kick the tires. And the truth is, billions and billions of dollars of automobiles are transacted online today. In the same way, people have said, it's very hard to buy a property if you can't see it and feel it. Well, as those of you in Florida know that most of our condominiums are sold pre-development. You can't see it, you can't feel it. We use tools like digital depictions of the property to help a buyer experience that. And there's all kinds of tools that are very powerful in effectuating that vision. Obviously, we use sales galleries as well as a representation of what the product is. But if you're in Mexico, or you're in Toronto, or you're in New York, and you don't have the opportunity to visit that sales gallery, these digital tools really make it as if you're there. And what's really cool is that if you're on the sales side of that technology, you can see how much time the buyer is spending in the different floor plans or the different product, how frequently they're visiting it. So you get a much better sense of how to navigate that buyer and their opportunities for yourself.
Exactly. And I totally agree with you. And especially here in Florida, we have so many international buyers. You can't just fly from Spain to an open house, but something like digital twin gives you an opportunity to have that open house, and you can still have it humanized. You can still have a call with your agent, and you can share the screen, and you can go through the property. So it can still be human and warm, yet very available and very clear understanding of what you're introduced.
I couldn't agree more, Lucy. I think it's changing the landscape of the way we see real estate, both pre-construction and existing. People used to say it's very hard to get a sense of what a floor plan feels like to be in it. But today we can digitize those floor plans and make them live. And we've seen all kinds of things that are contributing towards that technology. And I think, the smartest way to approach this is balancing technology against the real human interaction.
I would like to talk about the market conditions and the competitive landscape that we have here in Florida. I think maybe New York is similar, but I think Florida is very competitive. So how does Douglas Elliman, you and your leadership, navigate that competitive environment? How do you separate yourself from other brokerages? Because we have plenty of them here in South, even just in South Florida, Miami. So what's your take on it?
I think there are a lot of variables that help Douglas Elliman stand apart. Number one, I believe in our leadership. I think that all of us across the Florida platform and across the nation have a genuine passion for what we do. I don't believe anyone at this company is here just for a job or a paycheck. I think we have a strategic commitment to one another, a passion to win, and we understand that we win through our agents. So this model is built from the right side up, not the wrong side down. We're not standing on top, talking about who's in charge. We're listening to the agents because at the end of the day, their success is our success. So that's number one. I think it's the people. I believe that our managers are professionals in their discipline because they choose to be, not because they were failed agents that decided they wanted a job. And interestingly, many of our managers have been managers for decades, and many of our managers have been managers with us since I've been here. So it shows that they have a dedication to our platform. While trying to be lured away by many of our competitors, they stay true to us. And we've been through tough times. As much as we're realizing a great market in Florida, it was scary for all of us walking into the pandemic and seeing the fear on our agents' faces and our managers' faces trying to predict the future. But I think the principles we talked out at the infancy of this call about our culture, it's allowed for our managers and our staff, from our admins, our marketing, our PR, and everyone else to really stay dedicated to supporting our agents through thick and thin. I believe our non-franchise network in all the markets that our clients want to be in give us meaningful connectivity and equally a focus. If I was going to open an office on every corner of the United States, my focus would naturally be diluted. I think our focus in those markets that are organically committed to one another allows for our agents to spend their time more powerfully connecting the dots into each of those markets. Recently we were asked by a developer brokerage if they could have access to our offices in New York. And naturally the answer is no. I mean, that is the basis of who we are. We are focused on leveraging our very specific national connectivity. And then while others try to, negate this value proposition, our global relationship with Knight Frank, which is exclusive in nature, is extraordinarily powerful. I don't try to suggest that the phone is ringing off the hook from Knight Frank every single day, but I can tell you that when we want to expose a product across the globe, we're doing it in a way that is equally cohesive to our Douglas Elliman platform in most of the global markets. And so I think that's another important element.
And they have an office in New York. They have their own office in New York.
They do. They work with us in New York.
Yes.
And I also think that it's really the leverage of information across our platform. I have as much interest in a sale in New York as I do here. We care about each other. So when I pick up the phone and ask my managers in New York or my colleagues in California or Nevada for an idea or suggestion or help, they're going to buy in with the same enthusiasm and commitment as I have. And that's not the same when you're talking to a franchise or you're talking to an affiliate or you're talking to someone you just have a relationship with. So I really believe that Howard has created an engine that is strong, that is strategic, and that is properly positioned for tremendous success. I think our legacy is important. We've been around for a long time. We have a real brand that makes sense, that resonates with the luxury space. And ultimately, I think our just genuine commitment to our agents has continued to perpetuate who we are as an organization, what we believe in as an organization. And they know that our fight is real, that we are going to wake up and go to bed thinking not about where their next commission is coming from, but how we can unveil them of the tools to make sure that that next commission is coming fast and from a great deal.
So, Jay, you mentioned challenge. And, I'm obviously everyone have to go through some challenges and through ups and downs. Pandemic was one of them, 2008 was the other one, and I'm sure many in between. How you navigate through challenges and turn it into great success?
I mean, obviously everything that you do in life has ups and downs. And so it's obvious that we have challenges, as we all do. I think probably the most valuable way for us to embrace challenge is to seek advice. I have the tremendous benefit of working with a leadership team that has had experience in many facets of this industry. And I seek that advice and I get that advice regularly. Whether it's from Howard Lorber just today, having to navigate a situation with an agent, Stephen Kotler in our Western region, Scott Durkin on a national level, or any one of my colleagues, I ask advice and I listen and I try to balance that advice out against my own feelings and my own direction. I've been in this industry as a real estate brokerage firm for 12 years. I've been in the real estate industry for close to 25. But I know that I don't know everything. And so getting advice from your peers and those that I know have a vested interest in our collective success is a very big skill set and one that we rely upon. I also think that it's important to really try to face challenges with a clear mind. Not get consumed by the challenge, but sit back, make decisions carefully, cautiously, and with as much input as you possibly can. And so I listen and I ask and I weigh and I don't react. And I try to address those challenges with as much intelligence as is possible. And with an organization as large as ours, there's a lot of information that I can extract from my colleagues to help make those decisions. And candidly, you said I'm the CEO of Florida Brokerage and the president of Florida Development Marketing. I'm so grateful to have so many learned people around me to be able to share ideas with, including, my family and friends. We all face challenges. It's the way in which you embrace those challenges that helps you to dictate the success of overcoming those challenges. So triumphing over adversity has always been a skill of mine, and I'm going to continue to embrace it.
Well, you have a lot of responsibilities and you wear so many hats, not just in your title. Indeed, every morning when you come to the office, you have a lot to think about. How do you balance your personal life, your business life? I'm sure you get phone calls at 9 o'clock at night with some upset either clients or agents, or someone is frustrated. How do you balance it? Where do you put stop to work and start to family?
It's a great question, and it's a difficult one to really put into action, because you do have a passion for what you do, and I do have a sincere passion for my family and life. And if there's one thing I know at 51 years old is that you don't live forever, and you don't know what tomorrow brings. So I do try to make time for my family and time for myself. I start each day with something for me, whether it's jogging or cycling or working out. I do it every day because I believe that my physical well-being is a part of my mental well-being. I try to reserve time for my children because at 13, 18, and 19, I have twin boys that are 13, a daughter that is 18, and a son that is 19. They're getting older, moving on to college and making their way into the next level of schooling. So I recognize that if you're not spending time with your family and friends and you're not making time for yourself, what are you really doing all this for? So I try to reserve that time. And I think because the people I work with know that I'm so hard working and dedicated to them, that they really do avail me of that time when I say that I'm with my family or say that I'm out for dinner with my wife, that people are respectful of that. So if you work hard, you should have an opportunity to play hard. And I think I have a good balance of doing both. Howard Lorber would probably say sometimes I spend too much time playing hard, but I think it's because he just wants to see me achieve all that I have in my mind that I want to achieve.
What's your hobby? What is the most favorite thing you love to do?
Snow skiing.
Snow skiing.
Also,
and conveniently enough, Douglas Elliman is in Aspen, Colorado.
Well, if I was with Douglas Elliman in Aspen, I'd be working. But at the same time, being able to ski with my family and my twin boys are avid skiers, my friends, it's a good time to clear your head, be in nature, and I love doing that. I spend a lot of time cycling and hiking and running, and just nature to me is the best way to reconnect with your soul. And we live in a beautiful place here in Florida. We get a lot of time to be in the ocean, be on the beach, experience all that this beautiful state has to offer. So that to me is the best way to balance hard work and really feel invigorated when you have to step back into that office after a weekend.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you for that passion. It flows everywhere. I really appreciate your time and your sincere conversation from the heart.
Thank you, Lucy. It's always a pleasure to speak to you, and I'm looking forward to seeing this in reality and continuing to perpetuate the success of our company.
All the best. All the best to you, to Douglas Elliman and Douglas Elliman, Florida.
Thank you.
Cheers, everybody.